We are finally at the end of the regular season. We have all our 20 teams confirmed who will be playing who will be playing in the playoffs, playing whatever. We have our playoff matchups for teams that have championship aspirations. They know the route or the path that'll take them to the finals and the ultimate goal. And all 30 teams were in action yesterday. So we have tons of stuff to talk about. Let's get started right away. Let's start off with the Eastern Conference. Your top six in the East are the Heat, the Boston Celtics, Milwaukee Bucks, Philadelphia 76ers, Toronto Raptors, and the who was the sixth team? Chicago Bulls. And when you look at the top six teams and the order in that they finished, I think except the Sixers and the Bulls, all of these are surprises. The Heat, especially because nobody expected them to finish first. Celtics because they were in 10th at the end of the year in 2021. Bucks because I think third is a little too low for them. Sixers, I think we kind of predicted that. Raptors are the biggest surprise because nobody saw that coming. I thought this was a tanking season for them, although they don't have a history of tanking, but it looked like it would be a lot of youngsters, no superstar in the team and all that. They finished fifth. And the Bulls, I mean, at the start of the season, we did say top six. So I think we'll stick to that. I know they were on top for a while. Injuries hit them hard. And the results against the big teams didn't really go well. Now, the playoffs matchups are going to be like this. The Heat will play either the Nets, Hornets, Hawks, or the Cavs, whoever finishes there. So we don't really have a clear-cut opponent there. But when you look at the Celtics, they'll play either the Nets or the Cavs. Now,
no, I think Heat. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Correct. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the loser of the first game, and then they play the winner of the second game. So,
correct.
The Celtics, though, probably have an idea. They either play the Cavs or the Nets, and you would expect that the Nets would come through on the first attempt itself. Celtics versus Nets. Is that the game to watch out for in the Eastern Conference first round?
Sure. First of all, slightly disappointed that there is no permutation that gives us Celtics against the Bucks. No, the Bucks. Sixers would have been the dream, but they did an amazing job at tanking. They were phenomenal at tanking. While and making sure Embiid gets the... Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty shameless to be... Why not? Why not? When you're within reach, why not do whatever to get that damn trophy? It makes his MVP case very strong also now. With the... I don't know. Yeah. I think the whole league's just finding reasons at this point not to give it to Giannis. But he must admit he did let it slip a bit. Like it could have been undisputed.
The last few games, he didn't really go full throttle like he usually does. So
he sat out a game also. So
I won't complain if they gave it to Jokic. It's.
I would. If it's not Giannis, it's Embiid this season. Because both are excellent two-way players. Jokic has shown remarkable improvement on the defensive end of the floor. Yeah. Nobody's looking at Jokic thinking, oh shit, he's going to be a nightmare in the paint. No one.
First season, first player ever, points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and field goal percentage in the top 10.
I'm very proud of him. Drummond also gets rebounds. Nobody's looking at Drummond thinking, oh shit, oh my god, we're going to play.
Not just rebounds.
Whatever, dude. Nobody's looking at Jokic thinking, oh my god, we're playing top 5 big in defense. Nobody in the league thinks he's a top 5 big on defense. If you want, I can name 8 people better than him on defense at his position. It's not even close. So for me, and also Embiid, scoring champ. And plays way better defense than Jokic. Even if somebody accepts Jokic is a good defender, there's no question Embiid is significantly superior, right? So now, I mean, if it's a 1-to-1 battle face-off, that goes in his favor. And to top it all off, Embiid has a better league position on Jokic. Really, the only thing in Jokic's favor is all of the advanced metrics, which not that many people are fond of in the NBA because most of them are old school. So that doesn't work in his favor. 2, I genuinely think these sort of like stat marvels, players who are stat marvels, who are as yet unproven in anything beyond that, my personal belief is they shouldn't get the benefit of doubt.
It's a regular season MVP, right?
No, but I'm not denying that. But I'm saying how many times will you marvel at the same stat? It is incremental improvement in the same damn thing. It's not like whatever. And I gave you this debate offline also, right? Westbrook, this is exactly how mind-blowingly awesome, and I'm marking my words, mind-blowingly awesome it was when Westbrook did it. The first time, people just lost it. Not since Oscar Robertson, the big O, like one full season. Do you guys comprehend how insane that is to average a triple-double over 82 games? Then he did it again. We're like, what a guy. But we were also thinking, yeah, we've seen this before. And then you're going to go and fuck it up in the playoffs. I'm not saying Jokic has fucked it up in the playoffs. But limiting this only to the regular season, because it shouldn't matter what we think he goes on to do in the playoffs. Shouldn't matter for a regular season award. That I agree. It's incremental improvement on a remarkable stat marvel that actually we've seen in other positions. It's just in this position we're seeing it for the first time.
It's the highest ever PER.
Whatever, ever. Man. That also we've seen from Giannis. Like we've seen that from
this is better than that.
Yeah, so, who cares? Why is I mean, at this point, if you're bringing PER, you know you've reached like the end of your MVP debate barrel where it's even Stevens
like you take all else. The statistics and then Jokic is leading.
What is the ultimate outcome in a basketball game? It's a win. It's a team game. Last I checked,
Sixers have how many wins over the Nuggets? Like they have one.
They have league standing. Who cares? They have league standing.
League standings. Like
by the way, this season at least a relatively stronger conference. At least this season a better contested conference. The week, the West has been ransacked so badly by injuries to the best of the best of the best. Either they've been out for the season or big chunks of the season. Across the board, like Lillard out. You name the best of the West, right? Lillard out, Kawhi out, Paul George out, major chunks. Steph missed a bunch of games. Clay's coming back. I mean, you just go. Jam missed a whole bunch of games to the point where he put him out of contention for everything. So the West isn't what it was, at least this season. Maybe they'll come back next season. And then AD has been out for a bunch of games. Surprise, surprise. So the East, remarkably better. They've been marginally better, if not really better than the West, and then to get a better position in that while leading a team through the turmoil of that whole Ben Simmons saga, while overcoming your demons of this guy's moody, this guy's not consistent, he doesn't play, he doesn't convert all of that to wins, he goes missing in away games, blah 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 blah. I think Giannis has made the most difference to his franchise than Jokic has.
Giannis or Embiid?
Oh, sorry, Embiid. Sorry, my bad. Embiid.
Yeah, I think turmoil-wise, I think Jokic has seen worse. I think it's just that Sixers get more hype. Jokic, the second best player in the team, is probably Will Barton. I mean, really? Jokic, Embiid still has
not depletion of squad. I'm saying just the count of distractions.
That's media made, right? I mean, the Harden saga, the Simmons saga. I mean, you could have lived through it. I mean, it happens. Big deal. But anyways, I think we are digressing into the MVP topic, which I think we need a special episode for, and we have this whole week because there are no games every day. But Celtics was the Nets. Would you pick the Nets in that game? I wouldn't. I'm just looking at the Nets stats, and they've been giving up 120 very easily. And it's very difficult to pick a team that cannot defend. And for me, Kyrie and KD have played playoff minutes in the last 1 month. They've been playing 40 plus minutes regularly. To do that consistently, I find it a little difficult. I mean, it's difficult to bet against KD always, but I'd pick the Celtics over the Nets. Would you pick the Nets?
No, I wouldn't. It's not difficult to bet against KD. This isn't golf or tennis. It's a team sport, and he just doesn't have the team. I'm not betting against KD. I'm betting against the Nets, and they just don't have it. Celtics, first of all, start of the season, had we been told in any order that the Celtics and the Heat would be 1 or 2, we probably believe the Celtics part of it.
Yep.
Not the Heat part of it, which makes it all the more incredulous. But then halfway through the season, when you see where the Celtics were, and we were butchering them, didn't fix the big man problem, promoted the coach that fucked it all up to a front office role, new coach, right? What support does Roka get? Turmoil again within, like they have 2 youngsters, and it was almost F1 like at a point where the team has to pick one, like who's their P1 and who gets
at
the
trade deadline. There were rumors as well, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they're going to trade away Jaylen Brown for whoever and whatnot.
And of course, the every year Marcus Smart rumors that he's going to get. So wasn't a very happy place. Amazing work by the coach to turn that around. But most impressively in that turnaround was partly that they figured out their rules and how they get wins amongst each other, but mostly the defense they played.
Yep.
Because they're known first for their defense and then everything else. The Boston defense. If they're coming in with that to the playoffs, it's going to be tough. And even when you look at man to man, they line up better. against the Nets. KD is better than Tatum, who for me are the top two players in that series. And I said top two players because the games were played both ends of the court. Kyrie has negligible impact at the other end.
Yep.
As does Jokic. So for me, KD is slightly. No, that was Jokic on the Clippers player. What's his name again? The guy he hit on the back. That was the cheap shot.
Marcus Morris.
I don't know if it's Marcus or Marky, but I thought, fuck it.
They even look similar.
Yeah, let me not even try. They're twins. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
but so KD is the best player. Okay. But then it's Tatum. Brown, Kyrie's way better offensively. Brown's way better defensively.
Yep.
It's a debate. Yep. And then that's it. The Nets squad. I know they have Seth Curry, I know all these guys, but all of them are reliability on defense, including Kyrie.
Right.
KD can do some level of defense. I don't know how much he'll stop Jason Tatum, but he can play some level of defense. That's about it. That's the end of story. No rebounds. I mean, they have players, but they're not going to grab as many to give them the kind of cushioning they need to overcome their defense. And you're right. I can't pick a team that can't. They can't defend in the playoffs. They're not that level. So tough. Maybe 6 games for Celtics.
What would it require from the Nets to call it a successful season? Just a championship? Anything else is a failure?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything else is going to be, because it's season 2. Had this been season 1, they'd have lived with whatever. Yeah, but they already had that. They've been done through that. Now and season 1, they had some excuses, injuries, blah 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 blah. And
this season also.
No, no. Let's start with one guy refused to take the vaccine. That was self-inflicted. Nobody's giving you sympathy for that. These are the rules of the game. Whatever your belief, this is the whole league is playing by these rules. You can't have special exceptions. And then one guy decides to sulk and fuck off midway through the season, which for me is, again, I don't know if this was a coaching failure, if this was a leadership failure, a personnel failure, but somewhere this couldn't have been an overnight problem. It was left to fester and fester until it became septic and there had to be an amputation. It really fell to that. Did they get anything out of it? Sure, they got Seth Curry, who was an excellent player, but not quite the one guy to pull them out of the abyss. They got Ben Simmons. That's also a maybe, because he's a liability at the other end. He's amazing on defense. But we don't know because he's not going to play. No more excuses. I think a lot of this was self-inflicted. A lot of this was mismanaged. Questions should be raised against Steve Nash. As should questions be raised against everyone who thought it was a good idea to appoint Steve Nash. With this team, with these egos.
Yep. I agree. I mean, if you think of it, KD left the Splash Brothers to come play here. Curry left LeBron and the Boston Celtics to come and play here. So anything less than a championship, I mean, it is a disappointment, I would say.
James Harden threw an entire franchise under the bus to come here and then threw them under the bus. There's got to be something at the end of this, because you don't have a future. You don't have a present largely outside of your 2 superstars. It's not looking very great for the Nets. They've got to get something here.
Agreed. The Bucks was the Bulls. I think that's the easiest to predict. The Bulls are 1-14 against the top 4 teams in the East. So Bucks should rampage past them. Maybe they lose a game, but that's the
gentleman's sweep. I think it's easy. Bulls could be the 1 seed, and I'd still be saying this. I think it's too much for them.
True. They've not beaten the big teams, so until you see that, you can't really root for them. For me, the most interesting game of this playoffs is the Sixers versus the Raptors, and I genuinely believe that the Raptors can take Sixers down. Seeing how Embiid slows down after 35 minutes every game, seeing how James Harden has been pathetic. He's shooting 36% from the field after his first 5 games. After his honeymoon at the Sixers is over, the first 5 games. Exclude that, and he's shooting 36% from the field, and he has more turnovers than field goals. That's Russell Westbrookish.
Correct. And Siakam just doesn't bow down against the Sixers. He always finds that extra gear against these guys.
Yeah, and I think the Sixers are, the Raptors are a well-rounded team. I really think that the Sixers are going down in the first round against the Raptors, especially
better
given that
I think the Raptors are better coached.
Yeah, definitely one of the best coaches in the league. Doc Rivers.
My comment was on the other guy more.
Yeah.
The rumored Lakers replacement. Fuck me, somebody shoot me in the head.
Also, Thibault is ineligible to play in Toronto. How big is that?
Vaccine?
Yes, he's not vaccinated, and the Raptors vaccine mandate.
Oh my God! Wow,
that's huge, right? I mean, you need good defenders against the Raptors because all of them can score, and we spoke about this, that all of them are capable of getting 30-35 plus. And
Sixers had like 2 guards that could defend at an elite level. One
is gone to Brooklyn.
One guy is like, screw the vaccine. This is unscientific. Oh wow. Yeah, no, I'm actually comfortable picking the Raptors in this series.
Me too. Me too. I'm with you on that.
They're the better team, all right. So it's going to take
True.
stupendous individual effort for the Sixers to
True.
overcome. Now, whether that's Harden or Embiid, more likely it's going to be Embiid. I think that's where they're going to lean towards that side of the court. But it's going to take miraculous individual effort to overcome, and they'll have to win it at the line because otherwise, I think the Raptors are a superior team.
Yeah, and when you look at this playoff path towards the final, right? I think Heat have the easier path because if the Sixers don't qualify, then they play the Raptors.
Yeah.
First round they play the Hawks or the Hornets or Cavs or the Nets, and you would expect Hawks would come through. I think the Heat can take down the Hawks. Heat can take down the Raptors, and I think that's an easier part with the finals because the Bucks will have to play Celtics somewhere before.
By the way, I'm not so sure Heat can take down the Raptors. I think that's a pretty evenly matched contest.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Can take down the Hawks easily?
Yeah, so the thing about the Heat...
I should not be asking this question.
No, I know, but the thing about the Heat is they depend on Heat. They have shooters that get streakish hot, but that also runs the risk of streakish cold. They're overly dependent on Jimmy Butler to be the momentum provider, and whenever he goes out, it looks like they're missing something. And if Bam has a bad game, they're gone. Doesn't matter who does what in that team. Raptors, I believe, have answers for all of those things. Siakam is well matched. Both are kind of undersized big men, but they're perfectly matched against each other. Siakam's come along leaps and bounds on defense. He's not quite Bam level, but he's good enough to the point that net he creates a differential against Bam and for the team because he's a monster at the other end. Siakam, he really is. For me, he's Sabonis but can get wins. That's pretty much how it is. The black Sabonis that gets wins. It's insane how good he's become, and he sucked. Like he positively sucked at the start of the season. It was unbearable to watch.
Yep. So
the
whole of last season as well.
Yeah, if the schedule be willing, I think the Raptors are looking at a dream run to the conference finals.
Interesting pick. Okay.
It's doable. It's one of those dark horse things, but they've done this before. It's not the first time they've pulled something like this off. So I think it's within their shot. Hawks, can Heat take the Hawks? I think you should. I think they should. I agree because I think the Hawks, outside of Trae Young's insatiable drive, they've not been the same this season. You don't see that being. And the last 2 weeks,
Trae Young was incredible.
One man show. It's just one man show.
They were struggling, right? Yeah.
I mean, you don't see anyone else matching that. You don't see Collins. You don't any of the guys. Not even Capella is showing the same kind of drive that they had last season. So I don't know. Not that confidence inspiring. But if they beat them. Then they're going to the conference finals again.
No,
forget that. Right from YouTube vloggers to Netflix Prime Video, everyone's going to want to turn that into like the behind the doors. We're going to show you what happened and how Trae Young overcame.
Well, that was the Eastern Conference. You picked Raptors as a surprise pick to team to watch out for. I think the Heat are my surprise team, but both of us agree on the Raptors.
The one seed. What's your surprise?
Just that nobody's.
You're saying we're already surprised that they're even there.
Yes, I totally am. I mean, Kyle Lowry, I didn't expect him. Look at the number of games he missed. Bam missed 25 games. Butler missed 24 games. Kyle Lowry missed 18. Hero missed 15. And that's it, starting 5 almost.
Yeah.
They started off with Duncan Robinson.
No, they've done well. There's no denying. Done well. I think this is where they kind of pulled away and went in the opposite direction of, say, the Cavs, who had a hot start, but they couldn't sustain it. And the Bulls also. Who both, I think, have had excellent seasons, to be honest. They would have taken this at the start of the season and you told them this is how it will play out.
Agreed. All right. So that was the Eastern Conference. We'll come back tomorrow and talk about the Western Conference. Some exciting matchups there as well. I'm looking at the Warriors and the Nuggets, and I really am worried that the Nuggets are going to pull off a surprise there. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. That's all on today's episode. We'll see you tomorrow.
So wait. So that's 2 players now you've grossly overrated. Jokic. And who's that kid who got his ass traded who we think is Magic Johnson, the white Magic Johnson, the Sacramento guy?
Burton?
He's still in the NBA? Is he still in the NBA? Is he around?
Well, he got knocked out along with Sabonis, who also got knocked out.
Yeah, but he got triple-double in the process. At least Sabonis sat on his ass and tanked. But I guess that's what happens when you play for a team that's kind of borderline versus... Anyway.
Yep. All right.
Both
see you
suck.
tomorrow.
Right. Bye, man.
Bye.